Hey folks, and welcome to another showcase of the Hawken mechs. Today I'm going to go through and play around with the Raider a little bit. I did try doing this before, but unfortunately I was in kind of the wrong kind of game, and because of this mech peculiarities, I should say, I didn't feel comfortable playing around with it for long enough to actually get a good video out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try going through this again, and we'll see what happens here. And if you're hearing this, obviously it went well. So basically, this is the first real mech that we've played around with that actually operates fundamentally differently than the other ones. Not that it moves differently or anything else, but the weapon loaded is actually completely different. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Everything we have here is actually pretty high damage, but it's also fairly low rate of fire, and it's kind of a spread. They're basically shotguns, for lack of a better word. The second gun is actually quite a bit slower on the refire, but does a massive amount of damage. The first one does a little bit less damage, but it has a better fire rate for it. That said, it does feel like it's kind of a situational piece of equipment. It doesn't feel like something that I would play all the time, although I'm sure you could be quite good with it if you were so inclined to do so. I don't feel that it fits my playstyle well enough to actually qualify me playing every game with this. That said, I would like to go through and play around with it a little bit, kind of show you guys maybe some of its idiosyncrasies. I like some of the stuff about it, and I dislike some of the stuff about it. So let's go ahead and play through a couple of games, and I'll walk you through that. Now, first, I'm actually just going to go straight into deathmatch because I don't feel that with my lack of skill, I should gimp a team for anything, any kind of combat or anything like that. I don't think it's fair to everybody else to probably lose simply because I'm fighting around with a mech that I'm not real good with. That said, it does have, like I said, it does have some strengths. Its specialty is its ability to fire while boosting, which most other mechs aren't capable of doing, which, gives it a pretty good advantage under certain circumstances and certain situations. Looks like we will be starting here in just a moment. But yeah, so hopefully we'll actually be able to do a little bit of damage and kind of, maybe sort of hold our own here. I don't expect too much, so I'm probably only going to play a couple of rounds, maybe switch between the two primary weapons once or twice, and kind of get a feel for both of them, and then give you some final thoughts. Let's make sure that we have the right mech selected, and then we're ready. So at this point, we're just going to wait for this whole thing to get started. Apparently I'm the first mech in here, so it's going to be a little bit. So, like I said, you have the secondary weapon. Its special ability actually allows it to switch modes. I really didn't get to play with it enough to kind of get a feel for both modes, so it was really hard. It's really hard for me to say which mode that I like better. I think, honestly, they are just like the primary weapons. They are specifically set for certain situations, and it's better to switch back and forth between the two rather than to pick one and kind of use it. That said, I also think that for me, it's probably better to go with one particular mode with one weapon and the other mode with the other weapon, just so that I have a good idea of what I'm doing. Not only that, but I get a better feel for the weapons and kind of showcases what each one's strengths and weaknesses are. Actually, it looks like I'm the only person left in here. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set in here and let this sort itself out. I may leave, I may start it up again. And then once we actually get into a match, I'll kind of come back and we'll take over from there. Alright folks, and I'm back. Unfortunately I wasn't really able to find a single PvP combat, so I decided, to just go ahead and go with, a match that I could get, and, ooh, that's not good. Oh, there we go. I picked up a match that I could get, and we'll just play around with this for this match, and hopefully not do too poorly. So this is one of the missile defense matches, and it is also a map we should be a little bit familiar with. I believe I did this one with the Berserker. Yeah, there we go. Maybe not. Though I do still think that I have played with this map. Alright, so it does look like we have a fight going on here at 1. So, yeah, that kind of hurt. We do have a fight going on for some, and those are some big heavy mechs. This one's good for getting in and getting out of situations like that, but at the same time, it doesn't have quite as much health as the ones that we've been, or as the heavier mechs that we've dealt with before. Still, it does have more health than the Berserker, but it is also a little bit slower. A little bit better for taking on something like that, but not, you know, exactly a perfect match. Let's put it that way. Alright, so get out of the way. Alright. So, it is somewhat capable of taking care of itself, and it does look like it heals up awful quickly. This kind of looks like it's going to be a little bit of a rout. So I don't feel quite so bad playing around with this one at this point. So it is somewhat of a capable mech, but again, yeah. Situation like this, not so great. And it looks like I get switched teams anyway. Okay. So I'm gonna leave this one. And it looks like this isn't gonna be as easy a fight as I thought it was. Well, go figure. Anyway, so where was I? Something about, oh, yeah, okay. It is an interesting mech. It's not quite what I'm used to on any particular front. It is middle of the road with most of its stats, which make it, you know, for the most part, a middling mech. That said, It's also got that special, like I said. It allows it to move. It allows it to move or allows it to shoot while you're moving at high speeds, which isn't something terribly many people can do. It kind of gives it a little bit of a first strike ability. Now I'm gonna switch around my secondary, and then we're gonna play around with the other primary gun here in a minute. Where'd he go? There he goes. That was kind of bad for me. I was trying to take down somebody who is above me, and there's a bunch of other people behind me. So I'm going to switch to the slower firing gun, see if we can't get a little bit better with that, and we'll make a go of it. So this one feels a bit more flat cannony. It does more damage, but you have to, it takes quite a while to reload. It takes almost as long as the secondary to reload, which is painful, to be honest, for a mech this light. I dare say it's not, unless you're really, really good, probably not the best thing to be using. Where is it? Yeah, I don't feel real comfortable using this gun. Just because, and like I said, it's not the gun that's so bad. It's just myself with the fact that I'm not the best aimer in the world and yada yada yada. Yeah, this side kind of started a little bit gimped, and I don't really see how there's any way in how we're going to be able to win. That said, I do not feel bad at all doing this. Watching them leave this silo and take it, not at all. I do not feel in the slightest bit bad fighting this way. With this particular fight. There's somebody behind you, boss. I don't feel that gun is... You know what, I'm switching back. I don't feel like that's something that I'm good enough with to be able to... The refire rate on it is inordinately low. It's lower than I even thought that I remembered it was. And I remember it being pretty slow. So, at this point, we're going to go back to the other gun, see if we can't actually get a few kills here. Has a little bit faster rate, still does a good chunk of damage. I mean, for as slow as the fire rate is on the other one, it should honestly almost be one shot, one kill. It feels like a very, very slow acting sniper rifle. And yeah, that's bad and painful. So anyway, I don't think that this is a bad mech. I just think that it's not really my particular style. Not so much that I couldn't ever be good with it, just that I'm not good enough with it now to do it real justice. It's, and for some reason I keep thinking that it's called the Marauder when it's called the Raider. If I have accidentally called it the Marauder Mech, I do apologize for that. That has not been intentional. I am getting you, by the way. Oh, man. Okay, so I didn't get him. Anyway, I don't dislike this mech. I do think it has its strengths. I just don't... I'm just not good enough with it, with the skills that it has, to do it enough service to say that it's something that I'm going to play on a regular basis. I'm not familiar with it, and I'm not comfortable enough with it to think that I'm in any way good with it. It's just not my thing. And that's fair enough, you know. I didn't think that every mech was going to be something that I'd be good at or even like. It's sad because there are certain times when I really do like shotgun-based weapons and shotgun-based classes, but this one, just for me, it didn't come out in necessarily a way that I'm comfortable playing with it. So that said, I think in the right hands, the hands of the right person, I think it could be really good. Although I do think that the second primary weapon is a little bit underpowered for as long as it takes to reload. I mean, it takes almost as long, if not as long, to reload as as the secondary weapon, the actual missile that comes with it. And it doesn't do enough damage to really, it doesn't even take half the health off of something. I could do significantly more damage much more quickly with something like the submachine gun, or even just the regular, the reflak, the first one that it comes with. The T-32 bolt just doesn't feel like it does enough damage in it to be something that I would consistently play around with. I don't know, the EOC repeater may actually be enough of a middle of the road that that it would be right exactly where I'd want. Looks like it does have pretty damn good accuracy and a pretty decent damage rate. Very slow rate of fire, so I'd almost figure that would be something like a sniper rifle. It does feel like that would be something, you know, would be a lot, would be along the same lines as these, except for it looks like it's the one with the accuracy rather than the other two. So anyway, I don't want to say a bad mech. I'm just going to go with not my primary choice and a mech that I'm not good with. So if I ever get to the point to where I am really, really ultra good at this game and I want to gimp myself and or learn another mech that I don't necessarily feel comfortable with, this might be the one that I go with. The other thing, and something that I haven't really shown you terribly much, is like the equipment, the internals, and not so much the consumables, but the internals especially, I've seen make a fairly significant difference on some of my other mechs. So I do think that it's very possible that might make a huge difference with this. Something like where you can get an internal that'll boost your speed and maybe boost a little bit of your repair rate and stuff like that, might give this mech the edge that it really needs, that where it goes from being somewhat of a mediocre mech to something that really shines through, especially if you get good with it, if you really learn to be good with it. Anyway, so that's actually, I'm going to be done with this particular episode for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.